I'm not sure who needs to hear this, but let's make something very, very clear for you. You are not stuck, you are not trapped, and you are not out of options. But what you may be is scared. You may be a bit fearful and just a little scared to move. You may be scared of failing. You may be scared of making the wrong move or the wrong decision. Or you may just be scared of leaving what's super familiar to you. And that fear, it's what's keeping you in the same place. That fear, it's what's making you feel like you are stuck, not the lack of opportunities. Because the opportunities are there for you, but you're scared of moving and it's overpowering you. There's some of you that feel like life isn't moving forward for you. It's almost like you're watching everyone else progress and you're still staying in the same place. You're still stuck in the same cycle and it just keeps going in a circle and a circle and a circle. And it's an emotional roller coaster. And if you feel that way, then this episode is probably for you. And I want to help you understand what it is that you're feeling and how to come out of it. So we're going to get into the shenanigans. But before we do so, I don't want to be rude. So let me introduce myself.
Fly about the valley in the fire. Train her feet for running. Show her everything.
Hi, babes. Welcome back to the LVME Unbroken podcast. This is where we swallow the big pills, not the little ones. I am your host, Mercedes, and I am here to bring you some of the harsh and most difficult truths that you may need to hear. You might not want to hear them, but you need to hear them because you probably have people around you that are kind of like yes men, and they're telling you everything you want to hear, but it's not helping you progress in any kind of way. So I decided to be that person specifically for you, a stranger that is, to help you navigate this thing that we all live in. Let's talk about why you feel stuck. Like, why is it that you feel stuck? And I think there's a couple of reasons for this, and I can speak on this from experience. And then I had to have I had to do a little bit of self-reflection and kind of like snap out of it for a little bit and stop finding like other things to blame and just really like live in truth for a bit. So I think one of the reasons that you may feel stuck is because you confuse comfort with stability. You know how you've been in that job for a while and it's just it's a comfy thing for you. You know, you get a decent pay. You're okay with the environment. Like you don't really have any complaints about it, but there's nothing like super extravagant about it. There's probably nothing that's making you feel like higher about yourself being in it, but it doesn't hurt you in a way because you are so comfortable with it. But if we're being honest, some of y'all are calling it stability when it really should be called fear. It's just a fear of change that you have. It's like you're comfortable in that job, but it's draining you. You're comfortable in that relationship, but it's literally been over like for so long. And you know this deep down inside. And you're comfortable in certain habits that keep you like super small. But I want to remind you that comfort doesn't always mean like safe. Sometimes comfort can drain or wash out your potential. And you don't even realize it. You don't even realize that it's happening. But over time, because you've been sitting in that spot for so long, due to comfortability, you have slowly washed out your potential. And I feel like the thing that you may be afraid to leave might be the very thing that is holding you back. Another reason that some of us feel stuck is because I think you're probably waiting on clarity before you make that move. And you've been waiting on it for so long. You know how sometimes we get into those modes of talking to God and you just like, if you just send me that sign, God, like he's already sent you that sign. Like, you know, he's already sent you the sign, but you want the sign again and again and again just to confirm the same exact thing that he's already confirmed 1,000 times ago. I think it's that same situation. And some of us will sit there for so long and say, oh, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what he's telling me to do. I don't know that next move to make. But in actuality, yes, you know exactly what he's telling you to do. And I think some of you are probably hearing things that you don't really want to hear or things that you're just scared to make a move on. So you're just like, oh no, I need one more sign. I need one more sign. You need something like written in the sky, like, dear, your name. This is God speaking to you. I'm asking you to do this. Like, It's not going to happen. I want to make it very clear to you that sometimes clarity comes from movement, and it won't come before you make that move. Sometimes you just gotta just do something. Like, you have an idea, at least. You need to just do something, take a risk. And as you're making those moves and coming out of that comfort zone, things start to become a bit more clear for you. And if you're waiting for everything to make sense before you take that action, then it's probably going to be a long wait, much longer than you've been experiencing. And I truly believe that the next steps that you have to take in life, they reveal themselves like whenever you start that process. I don't care how small of a move you make to start it. Like, I feel like you start getting more clarity after you start making those moves. So just think about that. Another reason why you may feel stuck is because you cannot stop overthinking to save your own life. Literally, like, overthinking has you so paralyzed, bro. Overthinking literally does nothing. It literally kills your joy. It kills your peace. It kills your time. Because it kills your time, it has so much power over your life, and you don't even realize it. You're literally just stuck in your head running through every single scenario of what if. And it's clearly a broken record. You're probably saying, what if I fail? What if I regret it? What if people don't support me? What if people judge me? And what hasn't gotten you? Absolutely nothing, because you're still sitting there in the same exact spot that you've been in for so long because you're overthinking. And I wish some of us would just shift our mindsets. Instead of saying, what if I fail, or what if I regret it, or what if people judge me? Why not just say, what if I win? Like, what if I do the dang thing? You know what I mean? Like, what if I actually become her? Why not shift your mindset to that? Because when you shift your mindset to the more positive aspect of it, I feel like that is all the motivation you need to get a move on it, whatever that is. And I truly believe that overthinking is just like fear in disguise. Like, you'll sit there and you're just overthinking. Like, you're really scared for real. Some of you may not call that fear, but I do feel like overthinking is fear. And one last reason that you may feel stuck is because you're probably waiting on motivation. And I've spoken on this before, and I think it's such an important thing to remember when maneuvering through life. You're probably waiting on motivation instead of like discipline. You're probably prioritizing motivation. Like, you just feel like, if I just find the motivation to do this, I can do it. And the truth is, motivation isn't always present. Motivation will not always be there. You're not going to be motivated or feel motivated to get up and go to work and do that thing every single day. Some days you just want to stay in bed. Some days you just want to sleep your life away. Some days you don't want to do anything. You're not always going to be motivated. But when you have discipline in place of motivation, that is going to be the thing that keeps you going. And you're waiting on that motivation to come, but you're doing it wrong. You should be waiting on discipline. It should be discipline that you're focused on. And you're probably out there saying, oh, I'll start when I feel ready. I'll do it whenever I feel ready and the most comfortable. But if we're being completely real, and I'm sorry if this stabs a couple of you in your heart a little bit, but if we're being completely real, you've been saying that for months and months and months, or maybe even years, and you're still in the same exact spot because you are waiting on motivation instead of incorporating discipline into your life. Motivation has always been and will always be temporary. It come and go. It's like an emotional roller coaster. Motivation will not always be there, but your discipline will literally move mountains if you allow it to. And if you incorporate it, it'll do so much more than motivation will for you. So hopefully that has helped you figure out, like, why is it that you're stuck? Why is it that you're still sitting in that same spot? And the thing that you couldn't seem to put your finger on, hopefully that has helped you figure it out. Now you know the why. You know why it is that you're feeling the way that you're feeling. But how do you get out of it? Like, how do you start moving? Well, one very simple thing too. I feel like this is a very simple thing. But one thing you need to do is just make the decision to do whatever that is and stick to it. Some of you make a decision, you'll say, okay, tomorrow I'm gonna start doing this, and and tomorrow comes and you let life get in the way a little bit, and now you're saying, oh, I'm gonna start the next day and the next day. And no, I don't care what it takes. If you are making a commitment to something, just like a relationship, you are all in. I'm not even that. Just like, I'm not even gonna say relationship because that's another topic for another day. If you are making a commitment to something, just like a marriage, you are all in. make the commitment and stick to it. Do whatever it is that you need to do to make sure that thing happens, and you don't have another excuse on why it's been a whole nother week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks to a month and you haven't started. Make that decision and stick to it. You've been going back and forth in your head about it. You've been going to everybody asking for their opinion and how do they feel about it, or what if you do this, and oh my goodness, it's draining, babe, and it's draining you. At some point, you have to decide for yourself, because there's nobody else living your life and dealing with your decisions. At some point, you have to say, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm deciding to do. And tell yourself, and mean it when you say it, tell yourself that you are not looking back. You don't care what it takes. You don't care what sacrifices you have to make, because if we're being real, all these things that we do every day, all the choices that we make, they can be quite sacrificial. Like, you're going to have to sacrifice something, whether it's your time, whether it's your space for a little bit. Like, you're going to have to sacrifice something to start that thing and get it done. And that's okay. But no matter what, you make the commitment to yourself and say, I'm doing it and I am not looking back. It's that simple. The next thing you need to do is just take one single small action. I think some of us get so caught up in our heads about, the moves that we need to make. And we tend to think that the move that we make immediately has to be the biggest move yet. Like, it has to be, you just got to jump straight into it. But it doesn't take that. And a lot of times that's not even as effective as taking the small actions first. The saying, take it one step at a time, is so cliche, but it's just that simple. Take one small action today, not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready. Take it today, whether you're sending an email to somebody, or you're applying for that job, you are booking that flight to go wherever the next place is, or you're just setting a boundary, okay? One small action will do it for you. All you need to do is one thing that will disrupt your old cycle. And the last thing you need to do is shift your identity. Right now, you probably look at yourself as someone that's not capable, someone that's that lacks capabilities, and you're putting yourself in a box because of it. You don't feel like you are enough. You don't feel like you're good enough. And that's the issue. You have to shift your identity. Shift it to the point where you start seeing yourself as the person who does the hard things, who does take the risk, the person that jump into that pool head first, not knowing what's up under it. See yourself as that person, not the broken person, not the fearful person, not the person that lack capabilities, not the person that lack potential. Stop seeing yourself as the person that's a procrastinator. And you know what? I feel like a lot of people say that about themselves, and it's not necessarily that they take pride in it, but they say it so much to the point where they think it's normal. Procrastination is not okay. And you have every chance to come out of it. You have all the things you need at your fingertips to defeat procrastination. Stop seeing yourself as that person that hesitates before making a move. See yourself as the person that makes the move, despite your fear, despite your feelings, despite your lack thereof, whatever that is. And make a conscious decision that new person is who you are right now, even though you're still working to get to her or him. That new person is who you are right now. And that new person doesn't have those negative characteristics. That's who you have to see yourself as. So I want to remind you one more time that you are not stuck, babe. You are not. You're just scared to take the first step when it really doesn't take much at all. Please remember that you do not have to have it all figured out. You don't. You just don't. Nothing in life works that way. So the fact that you feel that way is very false. It's very faulty. It's not realistic. You are not supposed to have it all figured out, because then that'll probably make you perfect. And none of us are even capable of reaching that level, unfortunately. So you don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to move. Whatever that small step is, just do it. Just take it. Please let this serve as the motivation that you've been looking for so long, and turn it into a disciplinary action. I really hope this helps someone. I hope I've helped someone realize that they are not stuck. I'm speaking on this from personal experience, because we allow our flesh to blind us way too much. We allow the worldly things to distract us entirely too much, and it's time to stop. It's time to stop, because at the end of the day, with all of that fear that you've been having, with all of with all of the overthinking, the world is still spinning, babe, and time is still moving. And at this point, you've wasted more time than necessary. So snap out of it. And if you need a reminder daily, just come back to this video, play it in your ear or something. And I hope that helps you get through. We're gonna wrap it up. So I will talk to you all very, very, very soon. And in the meantime, take care.
I fall to my knees and I pray you, and I cannot deny that you are the one for me. You gave your life, I gave my life, I won't run from you.